Hello students, in this video you will see the solutions of in-text questions as well as solutions of exercise questions. So we will start with the first in-text question. What are canal rays? So these are the anode rays, that is the beam of positive charged particles. Okay, they were first observed in Crookes tube during the discharge tube experiment. This is enough to just answer the question what are canal rays. Okay, next question is, if an atom contains one electron and one proton, will it carry any charge or not? Okay, if an atom contains one electron and one proton, okay, then will it carry any charge or not? No, it will not carry any charge, and the atom is electrically neutral. You know that one electron and one proton will cancel out each other, forming an species electrically neutral, that is an atom. So you have to write in this way. Okay, next in-text question, page number 49. On the basis of Thomson's model of an atom, explain how the atom is neutral as a whole. Okay, so answer is, according to Thomson's model of an atom consists of positively charged sphere and electrons are embedded on it. So that's how Thomson explained about the atoms. Okay, these positive and negative charges are equal in magnitude, which makes an atom electrically neutral. So that's how the model was explained. Okay, so write positive, positive. So I've written in short, don't write like that. Okay, positive, you have to write the full word positive, positive charged. Okay, now next question, on the basis of Rutherford's model of an atom, which subatomic particle is present in the nucleus of an atom? Okay, you would be well knowing, on the basis of Rutherford's model of an atom, proton, that is a subatomic particle, is present in the nucleus, making the nucleus positively centered. Again you write a full word. Okay, so that's how you can just answer. Okay, next question is, draw a sketch of Bohr's model of an atom with three shells. Okay, you have to draw a picture, draw a figure showing three shells, figure of an atom showing three shells in it. So you can just draw like that. Okay, this is the center part, that is nucleus, and I have shown the positive charged particles, that is protons, they are on nucleus. Okay, and I have drawn three shells as it is asked in the questions. Okay, and I have named also the shell and as well as the shell number, K shell, L shell, M shell. These are the three shells, first three shells, and the number is 1, 2 and 3. Cell number 1, cell number 2 and cell number 3. Okay, so you know that in Bohr's model there was no concept of neutrons came, so that's why I did not show any neutron sign or something here. So I have just shown the central part with the as a positive center, that is filled with the protons. Okay, the next question is, what do you think would be the observation if the alpha particle scattering experiment is carried out using a foil of a metal other than gold? Okay, so in the question it is asking, if alpha particle scattering experiment which was done by Rutherford, if it would have carried out using a foil of a metal other than gold, then what would have happened? So nothing much. If you are recalling this alpha particle scattering experiment, there you had to take a very thin, extremely thin foil of the metal. Okay, so as gold being the very malleable metal, or you can say it has the property of malleability. It's fine or extremely thin foil can be easily made other than the other metals. The other metals are not as malleable as that of gold. Okay, so it's their foil can be made, but extremely thin is only possible in the case of gold. As you know, it has the largest malleability. Okay, so you can just answer in this way: no change is in observation, or no change is observed. But at the same time, gold being the most malleable characteristic, its extremely thin foil can be easily made than other metal. Okay, having, you should write here. Okay, but gold having the malleable characteristic, its extremely thin foil can be easily made than other metals. Understood? Next question is, name 3 subatomic particles of an atom. You know, these are electrons, protons and neutrons. Okay, so the particles are electron, proton and neutron. Now next is helium atom has an atomic mass of 4u. Yeah, 4 mu. Okay, and 2 protons in its nucleus. How many neutrons does it have? Okay, so in question what is given? Helium atom is there, which has the atomic mass of 4u. Okay, and you are given also with the number of protons. How many? 2 protons. So atomic mass is given, number of protons is also given. Then it is asking how many neutron does it have. Okay, now it is asking to calculate number of neutrons. So you know that number of neutrons can be calculated just by subtracting the atomic mass with the number of protons. Okay, so you can just write like that: atomic mass of helium is 4u, number of protons is equal to 2. So number of neutron will be atomic mass minus number of proton, that is 4 minus 2 will give you 2. So there are 2 neutrons in helium atom. Okay, so we'll move to the next question now. Next is, write the distribution of electrons in carbon and sodium atom. Whenever it is asked to show the distribution of electron, that means it is asking to write the electronic configuration of carbon atom. Okay, so electronic configuration of carbon atom, you know, atomic number of carbon is 6. So you can just distribute atom in the shells like 2 and 4. So that's how you can just write the electronic configuration 2, 4. Okay, then sodium atom has the atomic number of 11. So like that you can write the electronic configuration 2, 8, 1. 2 in K shell, 8 in L shell and 1 in M shell. Okay, so this is the distribution of electrons in sodium atom. Okay, so like that only you have to write the answer. Next is, if K and L shells of an atom are full, okay, then what would be the total number of electrons in the atom? Okay, so what is asking? An atom whose K and L shells are completely filled. That means K shell contains maximum of 2 electrons. That means K shell is completely filled with 2 electrons. And next is L shell. So L shell contains maximum of 8 electrons. So L shell is also filled. So 8 electrons are also there in L shell. So K plus L means 2 electrons plus 8 electrons will give you total number of 10 electrons. So now it is asking what would be the total number of electrons in an atom. So 2 plus 8 will give you 10. So there are total number of electrons in an atom is 10. So like that you can write maximum number of electron in K shell is equal to 2, maximum number of electron in L shell is 8, and as per the data given in the question, K and L shell are completely full. So the atom's shell is completely filled with 2 plus 8, 10 electrons. The total number of electrons in that atom will be 10. Okay. Next is page number 52 in text questions. First question is, how will you find the valency of chlorine, sulfur and magnesium? Okay, so you have to write the valency of chlorine, sulfur and magnesium. So I have told you already, so whenever you have to calculate valency, you have to first start with the electronic configuration. Okay, so valency of an atom can be calculated by the number of valence electrons. Okay, when you come to know the valence electron, then only you can just calculate the valency by seeing the number of valence electrons only. So for that, so to just predict the valence electrons in these atoms, you have to write the electronic configuration. So first is you have to calculate the valency of chlorine. So chlorine, there are 17 electrons because atomic number of chlorine is 17. So electronic configuration is something like that, 2, 8, 7. Okay, so 7, as it is showing, 7 is the valence and 7 electrons are there in valence shell. So this is the valence electrons will be 7. So as I told you how you can calculate valency, if the valence electrons are more than 4, that is 5, 6, 7 and 8, okay, then valency can be calculated by subtracting number of valence electron with 8. So we have done like that only. 8 minus 7 will give you 1. So 1 will be the valency of chlorine. Similarly, we can do for sulfur also. Sulfur, its atomic number is how much? 16. Okay, so you can distribute it like that, 2, 8 and 6. Okay, so 6 is showing the number of valence electron. So valence electrons are 6 electrons there. So valency will be 8 minus 6, that will give you 2. So sulfur will show the valency of 2. So that's how you can calculate the valency of sulfur. Then comes magnesium. Magnesium, again, what is the atomic number of magnesium? It is 12. So there are 12 electrons total of there in a magnesium atom. So 2, 8, 12. 2, 8, 2. Total 12 electrons. So that's how electronic configuration can be written. So here you can see 2 is showing the number of valence electrons. So there are 2 electrons in valence shell. So what would be the valency? So again, if you remember, I told you, if the number of valence electrons are less than or equal to 4, that is 1, 2, 3 or 4, then valency will be equal to the number of valence electrons. So here valency will be 2 only. Okay, so that's how you can calculate the valency. Next, in text question, page number 52. If number of electrons in an atom is 8 and number of protons is also 8, then first part, what is the atomic number of an atom? Second, what is the charge on the atom? Okay, so how you will answer? First, write the data. How many electrons are there? There are 8 electrons. And how many protons are there? There are 8 protons. Now the question is asking what is the atomic number. Okay, so Z means what? Atomic number. You don't know. And second part is what is the charge on of that atom. So charge of the atom, you don't know. Okay, so how will you just find out or calculate the atomic number? by just seeing the number of proton, you can just find out the atomic number. So since the number of protons are 8 in number, atomic number will be equal to 8. Okay. Now, how do you find out ki atom is having any charge or not? And if it is having the charge, which type of charge, positive or negative? Okay, so first we will see whether this atom is having any charge or not. It is acquired with any charge or not. So for that we have to see the electron number and proton number. So as you can see, there are same number of electron and proton which will cancel out with each other. 8 electrons will cancel the effect of 8 protons, giving you the species or the atom electrically neutral. So you can just write that the atom will not carry any charge. Okay, it is electrically neutral. Okay, so that's how you can just write the answer of the question. Okay, next is, with the help of table 4.1, find out the mass number of oxygen and sulfur atom. Okay, so when you see, you just turn out the pages and just on 51 page number, you can see this is the table 4.1. Okay, so by seeing the table 4.1, you have to find out the mass number of oxygen and sulfur atom. Okay, so first we will see mass number of oxygen atom. So how will we calculate the mass number of any atom? By doing the sum of number of protons and number of neutrons. Okay, so we will see 4.1 table. Though you have to mug up every data, everything here, the number of proton, neutron, atomic number especially. Okay, so we have to see oxygen. Where is oxygen? You see, this is the oxygen. Okay, and number of protons are 8 and number of neutrons are also 8. So we'll put the value here. 8 plus 8 will give you 16. So mass number of oxygen atom will be 16. Next is what? Sulfur atom. So you have to find out mass number of sulfur atom. Again, you have to write, you have to do sum of number of protons in sulfur atom and number of neutrons in sulfur atom. Okay, so sulfur we will see again. This is sulfur here, and you can see number of protons. How much? 16. Okay, and what about number of neutrons in sulfur? It is also 16. Okay, so we'll just put the value here. 16 plus 16, we will get how much? 32. So the mass number of sulfur atom is 32. So like that you can calculate mass number of other atoms only. Only the thing is, you should be knowing the number of protons and neutrons in that atom. Okay, next is page number 53 in text question. For the symbol H, D and T, tabulate 3 subatomic particles found in each of them. Okay, you know the symbol H stand for protium, D stand for deuterium and T stands for tritium. These are the 3 isotopes of the atom of hydrogen. Okay, so hydrogen element has the 3 isotopes, that is protium, deuterium and tritium, and these are their symbols respectively. Now it is asking to tabulate, to make a table, show, and you have to show 3 subatomic particles found in each of them, means in protium, deuterium and tritium. So you have to tabulate, or you have to make a table like this. Okay, and you have to write, you know, protium symbol is like this. Okay, So as you can see, the atomic number is 1, so proton number is 1. In deuterium, we call isotopes means, you know, they are the atoms of same element only, no? So same element means they will have the same what? Atomic number or same number of proton. So each isotopes will, isotope will have the same number of proton, that is 1, 1 and 1. Okay. What about the number of electrons? Electrons will be, electron will be 1 only in each case, as number of proton and electron, number of proton and electron will be equal, because these are all electrically neutral atoms. Okay, now we will see neutron. So as I have written here, 1H1, 1 stands for what? 1 stands for number of proton plus number of neutron. So you know, number of proton is already 1 and the mass number is 1. It means it doesn't contain any neutron. So neutron number will be 0 in case of protium. What about deuterium? In deuterium can be written as 1d2. That means atomic mass is 2 here. Okay. So as you know, mass number means what? Sum of the number of proton and neutron. Proton we already know it is 1. So one more will be added as neutron. So here number of neutron will be 1. 1 plus 1 will give you the mass number 2. What about tritium? It is written as 1T3. Again you can see mass number is 3, which is sum of the number of protons and neutrons. So already we know the number of neutron is 1. So and the mass number is 3. That means number of neutrons will be 2, which will make mass number 3. 2 plus 1. Okay. So number of neutrons will be 2. So that's how you can just fill up the subatomic particles by tabulating. Okay. Next is write the electronic configuration of any one pair of isotopes and isobars. Okay. So we will take the simplest example, that is, first we will take isotopes of hydrogen. Okay. Isotopes of hydrogen are protium, deuterium and tritium. So I have written symbol of each of the isotopes, and we have to write what? Electronic configuration of any one pair of isobar. So this is the one pair of isotopes of hydrogen element. So electronic configuration will be 1. You know, electronic configuration means you have to distribute electrons in shells. Okay, 1d2. Again here it is 1 only, because number of electron is 1. Even tritium it is 1 only. So as you can see, in case of isotopes, the electronic configuration doesn't change for each isotope. Okay, it is 1 only in case of protium, 1 in case of deuterium and 1 in case of tritium, because number of electrons are same because of number of protons, which are same in each case. Okay, you can also take other example like isotopes of chlorine. Also you can just write the you know, chlorine is found a form of isotope chlorine 1735 and chlorine 1737. So how you can just distribute or write the electronic configuration 287 in case of this isotope of chlorine, and again 287 in case of the other isotope of chlorine, that is 17 chlorine 37. Okay, so that's how you can write the electronic configuration of one pair of what? Isotopes. Then isobar. Okay, so one pair of isobar, as we have taken the simplest example of what? Argon, potassium and calcium. 1840, potassium also 1940, and calcium also 20, 40. Okay, so we will write the electronic configuration of argon 2, 8 and 8. Okay, what about potassium? It is 2, 8, 8, 1. Okay, what about calcium, which is 20, calcium 40? It is 2, 8, 8, 2. So as you can see in the pair of isobar, the electronic configuration of each atom in this group, isobar group, is different. Okay, electronic configurations are different here. So that's why you can take other example of isobar also, like sodium 11, 24 and magnesium 12, 24, and you can just write the electronic configuration of both of the pair of isobar. Okay, next comes the exercise question. Compare the properties of electrons, protons and neutrons. Okay, so for that again you should tabulate and write the properties like this only. Okay, so I have made some rows and columns here, so you can just do like that only. So first I have compared electrons, protons and neutrons with charge. Okay, as electrons are negatively charged, protons are positively charged and neutrons are neutral in nature. Okay, next I have done the comparison with relative unit charge. Okay, if you see the relative unit charge of electron, protons and neutron, it is -1, proton +1 and neutron 0. Okay, next the comparison is with absolute charge. What is the absolute charge of electron, protons and neutrons? That I have already discussed in the beginning of this chapter only. So absolute charge is 1.602 into 10 to the power -19 coulomb. Protons also have the same magnitude of charge, 1.602 into 10 to the power -19 coulomb, but neutron will have the zero charge. Okay, so like that you can compare with the absolute charge. Next is comparison of electron, proton and neutrons with relative mass. So you know electron mass is 1 by 1838 times as that of proton. Means, as I've already told you, key approximately an electron is 2000 times smaller than proton, the mass of one proton. And exactly, if you see, the mass of one electron is about 1838 times smaller than mass of one proton. So that's how you can write relatively. If proton mass is 1 mu, then electron mass will be 1 by 1838 mu. Okay, and neutron mass is almost equal to that of the mass of proton, that is almost equal to 1 mu only. Okay, so that's how you can compare the masses, that is called relative mass. Now how you can just write the absolute mass of electron, protons and neutrons. So you can just see the difference, the comparison. Electrons absolute mass is 9.1 into 10 to the power -28 gram, which is very much smaller than the absolute mass of proton, that is 1.67 into 10 to the power -24 gram. And as you can see, the absolute mass of neutron, it is 1.67 into 10 to the power -24 gram. It is equal to the mass of proton only. Okay, now with the location, you can just location in an atom, you can just compare electron, protons and neutrons. Okay, so electron, where it is located, it revolves around the nucleus in orbit or shells. Okay, where protons are present on nucleus, and what about neutrons? They are also present on nucleus. Here you can just write orbit, yeah, energy shell. Okay,